The View co-host Anna Navarro has slammed a privileged and entitled Nepo baby, but who was it and was it called for? Some of the ladies on the hit morning talk show have been called out for saying unkind things. Yet what prompted Anna's harsh reaction? Keep reading for more details. Anna Navarro slams privileged and entitled Nepo baby. The ladies of The View are known to speak their minds, even if viewers do not agree with what they are saying. Moderator Whoopi Goldberg has made it clear that they just offer their opinions and do not demand everyone agree. That is not how fans always feel, and sometimes they think that the hosts are shoving their views down viewers' throats. This has made some want the show taken off the air after nearly 30 years. Now, Anna Navarro, who has been a permanent fixture since 2022, has said something about Nepo babies. Anna Navarro. These are typically children who receive preferential treatment based on who their parents or families are. Some examples are Kate Hudson, Zoe Kravitz, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Nicolas Cage. They have gone on to be extremely successful aside from their family's fame, and some have forgotten who their relatives are. Shedeur Sanders was just drafted into the NFL by the Cleveland Browns. However, Anna Navarro did not care for the way he behaved during the draft process. Plus, his father is famed player Deion Sanders, so the View host feels that Shedeur used this to his advantage. First of all, anytime you start a sentence with, "You know who my father is," it tells the world that you are a Nepo baby and they come in every gender, color, and ethnicity. I think that comes with red flags. It feels entitled. It feels privileged. Before getting drafted to the Browns, Shedeur was a hot pick, and he seemingly knew this based on comments that he made. He spoke out to all of the teams, telling them not to recruit him if they're not trying to change the franchise or culture. Shedeur also dropped his father in a rant. "You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is. They hated him too. It's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. We like adversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are." Spoiled brat? At one point, Shedeur Sanders stated that there should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. This was based on his past as a college player, but it did not land well for everyone, especially The View's Anna Navarro. However, her co-host, Sunny Hostin, felt that Shedeur would be an asset to the NFL. She saw him as a leader and someone who would influence others. So, after hearing what Anna said, did fans agree, or were they with Sunny? One viewer slammed Anna and stated that she had not been present in the meetings. Therefore, she had no room to talk. Another felt that Anna could have been chatting about any Nepo baby. Yet, the way Shedeur spoke made him sound spoiled and ungrateful. Do you think that Anna Navarro's assessment of Shedeur was correct, or should the View host keep her mouth shut? Let us know in the comments below. Anna Navarro's fiery rebuke, privileged Nepo baby sparks heated debate on entitlement and legacy. The ever-candid co-hosts of the daytime talk show juggernaut, The View, are no strangers to controversy. Their uninhibited discussions and often polarizing opinions have become a hallmark of the program, sparking countless debates among viewers and in the media landscape. While moderator Whoopi Goldberg has consistently emphasized that the ladies are simply offering their perspectives rather than dictating absolute truths, the passionate delivery of their views sometimes leads to accusations of being overly opinionated or even abrasive. This has, on occasion, fueled calls for the show's cancellation, despite its impressive nearly 3-decade run. In the latest episode to ignite fervent discussion, Anna Navarro, a permanent fixture on The View since 2022, unleashed a scathing critique directed at what she deemed a privileged and entitled Nepo baby. The term Nepo baby, short for nepotism baby, refers to individuals who have seemingly benefited significantly in their careers due to their familial connections, particularly having famous or influential parents. While the entertainment industry is rife with examples of successful individuals with famous lineage, names like Kate Hudson, Zoe Kravitz, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Nicolas Cage often come to mind. Navarro's ire was specifically directed at a recent figure making waves in the world of professional sports, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, son of the legendary NFL player and current college football coach Deion Sanders, was recently drafted into the National Football League by the Cleveland Browns. While the young quarterback's talent and potential are undeniable, it was his conduct and pronouncements leading up to the draft that drew the sharp criticism of a particular issue with Sanders' perceived reliance on his father's fame and his assertive, some might say demanding, approach to the draft process. Navarro didn't mince her words when addressing Sanders' behavior. First of all, anytime you start a sentence with, "You know who my father is," it tells the world that you are a Nepo baby and they come in every gender, color, and ethnicity. I think that comes with red flags. It feels entitled. It feels privileged, she asserted with her characteristic directness. Her statement highlights a common perception associated with some Nepo babies, a sense of inherent advantage, and a potential lack of humility stemming from their familial connections. Navarro's assertion that this phenomenon transcends gender, color, and ethnicity underscores the universality of the concept and her belief that the underlying issue lies in the perceived sense of entitlement. Prior to being drafted by the Browns, Shedeur Sanders was indeed considered a highly sought-after prospect. This status seemingly emboldened him to make some rather forthright statements directed at potential NFL teams. In a move that raised eyebrows across the league, Sanders publicly declared that teams should not bother recruiting him if they were not trying to change the franchise or culture. This bold pronouncement, coming from a player yet to play a single down in the NFL, was interpreted by some as presumptuous and indicative of an inflated sense of self-importance. Adding fuel to the fire, Sanders invoked his father's name during a passionate defense against potential critics. "You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is. They hated him too. It's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. We like adversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are," he stated defiantly. While Sanders' intention may have been to project confidence and resilience, Navarro interpreted this explicit reference to his father's fame as further evidence of his Nepo baby status and a reliance on his family's legacy to deflect criticism. The perception of entitlement surrounding Sanders intensified when he made a rather declarative statement about his draft worthiness. At one point, he asserted that there should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. While this confidence could be seen as a necessary trait for a quarterback entering the high-pressure environment of the NFL, Navarro and others viewed it as bordering on arrogance, particularly given his lack of professional experience. His pronouncements, while perhaps intended to convey self-belief, were perceived by some as a manifestation of the privilege he has enjoyed due to his father's prominent position in the football world. Interestingly, not all the co-hosts of The View shared Navarro's critical assessment of Shedeur Sanders. Sunny Hostin, known for her more measured and often empathetic perspectives, offered a contrasting viewpoint. Hostin argued that Sanders possessed qualities that would make him a valuable asset to any NFL team. She saw him as a potential leader, someone capable of influencing and motivating others within a team environment. This divergence of opinion among the hosts highlights the complexity of the Nepo baby discussion and the varying interpretations of Sanders' behavior. The contrasting views on The View naturally extended to the audience, sparking a lively debate among viewers. Some sided with Navarro, agreeing that Sanders' statements and reliance on his father's name smacked of entitlement and a lack of humility. One viewer, seemingly critical of Navarro's take, pointed out that she had not been privy to the actual meetings and interactions Sanders had with NFL teams, implying that her judgment was based solely on public statements and lacked crucial context. This perspective suggests that Sanders' confidence might have been perceived differently in private settings. However, other viewers resonated with Navarro's assessment, suggesting that while the Nepo baby label could apply to many individuals, Sanders' specific pronouncements amplified the perception of him being spoiled and ungrateful. They argued that his assertive demands and explicit invocation of his father's fame painted a picture of someone who expected preferential treatment, rather than demonstrating a humble eagerness to earn his place in the league. This viewpoint emphasizes the importance of conduct and communication in shaping public perception, regardless of one's familial background. The debate surrounding Shedeur Sanders and the Nepo baby label raises important questions about the role of privilege, the weight of legacy, and the fine line between confidence and entitlement. While having famous or influential parents can undoubtedly open doors and provide advantages,